If you decide to make an exam in Schoology optional, for example, a final exam, there's a couple of things that you'll need to pay attention to. I'm going to show you two methods of how you might want to do this. The first method I'm going to show you is probably the easiest method. So if I go up to Add Materials, and if I click on Add Assignment, this could be an online quiz or a paper, doesn't matter. I'm just going to call it Final Exam. Give it a due date. A point value like you normally would. Give it a category. I'll give it a category as Final Exam. And then for students who decide to do the final exam, they're going to go ahead and, take that quiz or take that final exam like they normally would. But in the grade book, you're going to have to excuse the students who don't take the final exam. So for example, if, Test Mississippi didn't take the final exam or chose not to, I'm going to go ahead and mark that student as excused. I'll mark Sarah Muller as excused as well. And then for the bottom two, Sally student and Steve student, let's say like Sally took the exam and she got 100 points. You're going to see her grade go up from 85 to 98.64. And what if Steve student took the exam? There's two things that you're going to have to look at here. So what if, if Steve got a higher score, if he did 90, if he got a 90 on the final exam, that would boost his score to 89.09. But what if he did worse on the final exam? What if he got a 60? And so that would bring his grade down. So if your final exam is set up where it cannot hurt you, then if he would get a lower grade, you're going to have to pay attention to what his original grade was right there. And so if that's the case, if he got a 60, what I might do then is mark that as excused as well, so it does not hurt his original score. The second option would be just to create a final exam and assign it individually to the students that you know are taking that exam. So I'd go up to Add Materials. And once again, this could be an assignment, a test, a quiz, assessment, etc. Now I'll just call this Final Exam again. Give it a category. And this is down here underneath Options. You're going to see like three little dots. If I click on Individually Assign here, I could assign it to, Sally student and Steve student. And when I hit create right there, you see it's just assigned individually to those students. And if I go over to the grade book, you'll see that for the top two students, I can't even enter in a score. And so for Sally student and Steve student, when those scores come in, for example, if Sally got a 90, you would see that her score goes up to 89.55, her overall score. And then for Steve, the same thing. If he got a 90, you would see his score go up. But if you design the final exam so the final overall score is not supposed to hurt the student, so for example, if Steve did not so good on the final exam, if Steve got a 60, and that would bring his score down, you'd have to pay attention to how that final exam score affects his overall score. So what you might want to do then, if this is the case here, is just excuse Steve from that final exam, and that changes his original score back to 80. Thank you, and have a great day.